Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of the video series where I solved the questions of pre-RMO 2019. So let's start with the 8th question. So the question says, how many positive integers n are there? N is between 3 and 100 and such that x to the power 2 to the power n plus x plus 1 is divisible by x square plus x plus 1. So let's recall the factor theorem to solve this problem. So the factor theorem states that if px is a polynomial and px is divisible by x minus a if and only if p of a is equal to 0. So the idea is that to check divisibility by a quadratic polynomial x square plus x plus 1, we will factor this into two linear factors x minus alpha and x minus beta, and we will find the condition such that this px such that p of alpha and p of beta are 0. So now if p of alpha and p of beta are 0, then x square plus x plus 1 will divide this polynomial x to the power 2 to the power n plus x plus 1, and we have to set n between 3 and 100. So let's try to find out some of the properties of the roots of this polynomial, this quadratic polynomial. So if alpha and beta are the roots, then the sum of roots is minus of this coefficient divided by this coefficient, so minus 1, which means beta is minus 1 minus alpha, and the product of roots is this coefficient c divided by the leading coefficient a, so c upon a is 1, so alpha beta is 1. Since alpha and beta are the roots of this equation, we can substitute x by alpha and x by beta in this equation. So this gives alpha square plus alpha plus 1 equal to 0, which gives alpha square equal to minus 1 minus alpha, and over here we got beta equal to minus 1 minus alpha. So we get alpha square equal to beta, and substituting this again in this equation, alpha beta equal to 1, we get alpha times alpha square equal to 1, which means alpha cube equal to 1. So alpha is one of the cube roots of unity. Similarly, we can also conclude that beta is also a cube root of unity because of the symmetrical form of this equation and the roots. But let's look at this in detail. So beta square plus beta plus 1 equal to 0, which means beta square equal to minus 1 minus beta, which is alpha. So beta square equal to alpha, again if we substitute in this equation, we will get beta cube equal to 1, which means beta is a root of unity, cube root of unity. Now let's look at p of alpha now. So alpha to the power 2 to the power n plus alpha plus 1. So alpha to the power 2 to the power n would be, if we set n in such a way that this is alpha, then this won't work, because 2 alpha plus 1 is not equal to 0, because if we set 2 alpha plus 1 equal to 0, we will get alpha equal to minus half, and we can substitute this back into this equation, and we won't get alpha equal to 0. Similarly, and if we set alpha to the power 2 to the power n equal to 1, then also we will not get a root, we will not get p of alpha equal to 0, because then this will become 2 plus alpha equal to 0, which is alpha equal to minus 2, and if we substitute minus 2 in this equation, again we will not get p of minus 2 equal to 0. So the only way that this p of alpha would be 0 is if we set n in such a way that alpha to the power 2 to the power n is equal to alpha square, and this is possible only if we do 2 to the power n equal to is of the form 3k plus 2, then alpha to the power 2 to the power n would be alpha to the power 3k plus 2, which is alpha cube to the power k times alpha square, and alpha cube is 1, so 1 to the power k times alpha square would become alpha square. And Similarly for beta, if we substitute 2 to the power n equal to 3k plus 2, we'll get here beta square plus beta plus 1, which would be 0. Otherwise, if we set 2 to the power n equal to 3k, then this term would become 1. So this whole term will become 2 plus alpha, which is non-zero. If we set 2 to the power n as 3k plus 1, this term would become alpha plus alpha plus 1, which is 2 alpha plus 1, which won't be 0. So the only solution is when 2 to the power n is of the form 3k plus 2. Now let's look at what are the possible values of n which would give this value. So 2 to the power n equal to 3k plus 2, that is when we divide 2 to the power n by 3, we get remainder 2. So let's write down some powers of 2 and let's note a few trends. So 2 square, 2 cube, 2 to the power 4, 2 to the power 5, 2 to the power 6. If we divide these by 3, then the remainder is from 2 we get 2, from 4 we get 1, from 8 we get 2, from 16 we get 1, from 32 we get 2, and so on. So with every alternate power we get the remainder 2, and with every alternate power we get the remainder 1. So if we set n equal to 2, 1 is not possible because n is in the range 3 to 100. So if we set n equal to 3, 5, 7 or so on till 99, we will get a value of n 2 to the power n such that 2 to the power n leaves the remainder 2 when divided by 3. So there are 49 possible values for this. So 49 is the final answer. Now let's look at the next problem. Let the rational number p by q be the closest but not equal to 22 by 7 among all rational numbers with denominator less than 100. And what is p minus 3q? So p by q is, we want a rational number which is closest to 22 by 7, and the remainder, the denominator is limited by 100, and we have to find the value of p minus 3q. So let's write it down. We want p by q such that q is not equal to 0. P by q minus 22 by 7 is minimum, and q is less than 100. So let's look at this condition. We can simplify this further. P by q is a rational number that we want. So p by q minus 22 by 7, we want to minimize this quantity. So this will be minimum when this we have taken the LCM in the denominator and solve this fraction. So 7p minus 22q upon 7q is minimum. Now we have this condition on the quotient that it should be less than 100. So a fraction is minimum. A fraction is minimum if its numerator is minimum and the denominator is maximum. For two fractions, let's say 1 over 2 and 1 over 3. 1 over 3 is smaller because the denominator is larger. Similarly, for 2 by 3 and 1 by 3, 1 over 3 is smaller because the numerator is smaller. So we want to make numerator as small as possible, and keeping the denominator, we want to make the numerator as small as possible and keeping the denominator as large as possible. So let's try the largest possible denominator that we have, which is q equal to 99. So we are going to try this. So we want to minimize 7p minus 7q by 7q, where q equal to 99. So let's solve this. So we get this value, and now we want to make 7p as close to 22 times 99 as possible. So we want to minimize this term. Now 7p would be closest when we want to, if we divide 22 times 99 divided by 7 and we get some remainder, so that will be the smallest possible value of this, because we have gone very close to this number and we are just left with some small remainder. So let's look at the remainder. So 7 divided by 99 divided by 7 would give 1, and 22 divided by 7 would also give 1. So we can multiply the remainders, which we will see in further lectures that remainders could be multiplied. So when we want to get the remainder of 99 times 22 by 7, we see that the remainder would be 1. So let's just write it down in nice form. When 22 times 99 is divided by 7, the remainder is 1. And suppose the quotient is x. So if we set p equal to x, we will get that minimum value. So what I did was I had to multiply 22 times 99 and get the quotient when I divided this by 7. So I got 311. So p equal to 311 and q equal to 99 would set 7p minus 22 times 99 by 7 into 99. This quantity will become 1 over 7 times 99, which is the minimum difference that I can get. So now for calculating p minus 3q, I just substitute these values and I get the answer 14. Now let's look at the next problem. Let ABC be a triangle and omega be its circumcircle. The internal bisectors of ABC intersect omega at A1, B1, C1 respectively, and the internal bisectors of angles A1, B1, C1 of triangle A1, B1, C1 intersect omega at A2, B2, C2 respectively. If the smallest angle of triangle ABC is 40 degree, what is the smallest angle of A2, B2, C2? So let's first draw the figure of this problem to understand this better. And what we should try is, we should try to find the angles of A1, B1, C1 in terms of ABC, and then using a similar logic, we can find the angles of A2, B2, C2 triangles, triangle A2, B2, C2 in terms of A1, B1, C1, and then we can get the smallest angle, because we are given the smallest angle of triangle ABC is 40 degree. So let's see how we proceed. So we have this triangle ABC, and A1 is the internal bisector of angle A. So this angle is equal to this angle, and similarly B1 is the internal bisector of this angle B, and C1 is the internal angle bisector of this angle. So now let's try to find out the angles A1, B1, C1. So we will use this important property of circle, that angles in the same segment of a circle are equal. So an example would be angle A1, C1, which is A1, C1 is equal to angle AC1, because both of these are in this segment made by AC1 on the circle. So A1, C1 is equal to AC1. You can also prove this property by using another property which is very important, that angle made at the circumference of the circle is half of the angle made at the center by a chord or by a segment. So that property gives that angles in the same segment would be equal. Now using that property, we get that angle A1, C1 would be equal to angle AC1, which is angle C by 2, because C1 is the angle bisector. So we get this. Then similar logic, we get angle A1, B1 equal to B1 equal to angle B by 2. So we get angle A1, which is basically B1 A1 C1, angle B1 A1 C1 equal to angle A1 equal to B plus C by 2. So by symmetry, we can say that angle B1 is equal to A plus C by 2 and angle C1 equal to A plus B by 2. So we have found the angles of triangle A1 B1 C1 in terms of A, B and C. So now let's get back to the statement of the problem. What we have here is that the internal bisectors of a triangle ABC intersect a circle at A1 B1 C1, And again, the internal bisectors of A1, B1, C1 of triangle A1, B1, C1 intersect omega at A2, B2, C2. So the formula that we use to write A1 angles of A1, B1, C1 in terms of ABC could again be used to write A2, B2, C2 in terms of A1, B1, C1, because there are the same, let's say, transformation that's used to get ABC to A1, B1, C1 and then to A2, B2, C2. So angle, or if you are not satisfied with this, you can also do this calculation again, but that would essentially be like in this figure you would replace this A1, B1, C1 by ABC by A1, B1, C1 and A1, B1, C1 by A2, B2, C2, and then you will get the same results that I am writing here. So yeah, A2 equal to B1 plus C1 by 2, which is again B1 is A plus C by 2 and C1 is A plus B by 2 upon 2. So this is angle A by 4 plus A plus B plus C by 4, which is A by 4 plus 45 degree. 180 by 4 is 45. So this is A by 4 plus 45 degree. Similarly, angle B2 is 45 degree plus B by 4 and angle C2 is 45 degree plus C by 4. Now, the smallest angle of ABC was 40 degree. So the smallest angle of A2, B2, C2 would be 45 degree plus 40 by 4, which is 55 degree, which is the final answer. Thanks.